Hi everyone, my name is Grace Efezekai and I'm so happy to be back here on my channel. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing, liking and engaging on the previous videos that we have uploaded. So now I would like to introduce the channel to you again. So Nima Careers was founded by me, and again my name is Grace Efezekai, and I founded Nima Careers to actually help newcomers to Canada settle in into their careers through like interview preparations, job search, how to write compelling resumes, how to network, right? And it has grown beyond just newcomers to Canada because we also have clients from across the world right now, and we've helped over 100 people so far, which is amazing, and the testimonials have been awesome. So I created this channel to try and share a lot more videos that could be shared to thousands of people or even millions of people rather than just having only one-on-one sessions. So if you look at the previous videos, we actually had videos where we talked about how to create a compelling resume, how to have the most amazing interviews and impress your interviewers. You can check through the comment section. I'll put the links down below. But today I want to do like short forms of those longer videos and kind of deliberate more on them. So today what we'll be focusing on today is questions to ask in an interview. I know that this really happens towards the end of the interview when they say, do you have any questions for us? Please always have a question. Like, don't say I don't have. You have to have. And before you start going into the questions, one thing I want you to understand is for you to read the room and be cognizant of time. So if your interview is going to be for between 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and then they ask you by 1:55 p.m. that, oh, do you have any questions for us? You can't start asking 5 questions at that point, right? So be conscious of the time, conscious of the time, and also based on the vibe you've created with the interviewer, you can know the kind of questions that you can ask. But before you go into an interview, you need to make sure that you have prepared the questions that you want to ask the interviewer. And this is going to be like having the right questions to the interview questions, having the right answers is going to help you a long way. But then you asking them an amazing or a genius question can be the game changer for the entire interview. So how do you prepare your questions for the interviewer? One of the first things I want you to know is that I know that a lot of times people say interview questions and then they go online and then they just copy and paste and then they go to the interview and ask those questions verbatim. It's not a bad idea per se, it's good, but I think that you don't just copy things verbatim, right? You try to like personalize it into what was asked, to make it customized to the job that you're interviewing for. Prepare for these questions. So number 1, you can ask questions around what was discussed during the course of the interview. So maybe they are mentioned something, take note of it and ask. It shows that you're a genuine listener. Number 2, ask questions around the job description. I know that people always say that, oh, the job description is vague. Whatever it is, there is still some information you can get from the job description and ask questions around that. So how can you match the questions you get from the internet into the job description? So when you read the job description, I'll say the JD, right? You're going to see the name of the team. So maybe they have said that this team, you're interviewing for a role as a strategy manager at retail and product team, right? Take note of that team, the name of the team. Take note of the team that you're going to have maybe like collaborations with, and ask them a simple question about maybe, oh, in the job description, you can say, so now based on the JD, you can look and say, oh, from the job, looking at the team, the retail and product team, mention the name of the team. So you say in the retail and product team, let's say they even made it, abbreviated it and said retail production team, RDPT, something like that. So you can say that first and then you can now use the abbreviation that was used. So you make it look like you're already in it, like you're already part of us already. So you can say, oh, in the RDPT, team, I can see XYZ, and or you can say in the RDPT team, what are the goals for the team? What are the goals for the team within the next 30 to 60 days? And how can this role help you in achieving that goal? So now, that show when you know other candidate might just say, oh, tell me about the team, right? But you are saying, tell me about the retail and product team, the RDPT team. And then you are saying that you can also say, tell me how the team is structured. What's the reporting structure like? Who am I going to be reporting to? You ask questions that show that you really care about the role. So in job description as well, you can see maybe other things that specific things like the other teams are going to be collaborating with. Before now, you should have actually gone through their website to see a whole lot of different things, a whole lot of things about their annual reports, their press releases, and all of that, right? So from there, you can look at the job description and get a question. So I'll give you an example of one of the clients I worked with. She was interviewing for a strategy manager at an insurance company. And as a strategy manager, the name of the team was mentioned. So what we did together was we went to the annual report to go and look for questions that were to go and look what is strategy for the company in maybe the next 5 to 10 years. And there was a very great screenshot of, the strategy, and they had like different categories, how they had categorized it. And she said when she asked that question, she asked the question that, I can see from the annual report that the Canadian strategy is XYZ. And she asked the question around that strategy. And then she also asked the question that if you look at other geographical locations like America and maybe the Caribbean, right, I can say that this is strategy for them. So are there ways we can collaborate with these other geographical locations, right, or these teams outside of Canada? So it shows that you are genuinely interested in the role, because for you to have gone straight to that annual report, it shows that you're not just coming in with pedestrian knowledge. And another thing to note is that you can't ask questions that anybody can easily find online. I can't go to let's say I go to RBC and start asking them a question like, tell me about the bank. Like, you can't ask that question. You should already have done your own research and then ask and let them know that you're asking this question based on your own research. Another thing that you could check is from the annual report as well. You could see maybe the CEO has said something that in the next 10 years we want to expand into, maybe they want to expand into Cuba and Mexico. So, and then your role is about, maybe you are going to be interviewing as a marketing coordinator. So you're going to ask, like I said, that the CEO in the annual report said that they were going to expand into Mexico and Cuba. And this marketing coordination, as a marketing coordinator, I'm going to be covering the teams in Canada. Am I also going to be working with this? You ask informative questions. So now I talked about how you ask questions about what was discussed. I talked about the team, talk about the company. Go on Google, check the Google News and see what's the latest happening in the company, and then ask a question and in relation to the role. Because another thing about this is that there are some times that you may actually, everywhere you are applying for a very big company, there's just so much going on, and then you're asking this hiring manager about XYZ that it is not even related to his team. You're going to tell you that he doesn't know. So always try and link whatever it is that you read online, especially when it's a very big company, into the role that you are interviewing for. Another thing you can ask is ask them about themselves. And I know that if you go online, you see questions like, tell me what you like most about working for this company, which is great. But what I would like you to do is to go a step further and don't sound the same as others. What can you do in that regard is for you to go and check your interviewers, check them out on LinkedIn, check their profile, right? Go on Google and Google them. Maybe they were recently on a panel, and ask them a question about that. So rather than saying questions like, tell me what you like about working here, why not ask questions like, or in your 10 years working at ABC Bank, or in your 12 years, okay, let's say, can ask one like, in your 10 years working at ABC Bank, what has been your most memorable moment? Or you can ask a question like, in your 12 years of working in this bank, I see that you've progressed across 4 different roles in the space of 10 years. Ask them questions like, what's your secret sauce and how you've been able to make this amazing career progression? And everybody likes to talk about themselves, especially when it's the good parts, right? So you see that when you say that, it makes them really happy. So I'll give you an example of a role I had in Canada. I checked the name of this interviewer. It was the EVP, and it was based in New Jersey. So I checked his LinkedIn profile, and then I also checked I checked him out on Google, and I said that recently he was on a panel to discussing about what we do on that team in Grand Cayman Island. And he was on the panel. He talked, and in the article I read, he talked about some of the points that he raised. So I read up about it, and then I asked, and it was like, you could feel like his eyes just popped, like, oh my god, what do you think about the panel? And we're discussing about the panel. I don't really necessarily have like the technical knowledge on that, but that really helps you to make amazing connections with your interviewer. Because another thing about interviews is you have to create some form of likability, right? They have to like you to hire you. And also in my current role, I remember that I checked the first person I was going to interview with. I checked out online on LinkedIn, and I saw that she was heading a particular specific regulatory project, which all the banks across all over the world were actually having that talking about that regulation or working on it. So I had gone and I had a faint idea. So I went online to check about the project, and then I asked her during the course of the interview, like, oh, I checked your LinkedIn profile and I saw that you had XYZ regulatory projects. I know that this is something that all the banks are scrambling to meet the deadline. How has the bank been making efforts towards this project? And she was so excited. She sent me, she was so happy that I asked that question. So yes, so overall is always make sure that you have an amazing question to ask an interviewer. It creates some form of connection. Ask intelligent questions. Ask informed questions. Don't ask questions that can easily be Googled, or don't ask questions that anybody anywhere can answer those questions, right? So make sure you have amazing questions for your interviewer. Always have a question, at least have one or two, at least two, because in case one of your questions have been answered already, you have something else to ask. Then maybe at the end you can now say, oh, what's the next step for this interview? What are you going to get back to me? How soon do you want to hire? Those are the things you can just ask on the side, right? So now I'm sure that this video has helped you in how to curate your questions that you're going to ask an interviewer. Have questions, please, and create connections. Interviews are all about conversations, and make your conversations a two-way street, and have the right questions. Ask questions they are not generic. Don't just copy and paste a question from the internet and say that and ask in the interview. So I hope this has really helped you. If you can check other videos on the channel, you can reach out to us if you have you want to have like a one-on-one session with us on your upcoming interview, or you want to create a compelling resume, or you're moving into a new country and you need some form of guidance, please send us a message. All the contacts down below. You can reach out to us at consult@nimacareers.com. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at nimacareers, and send us a message. I'll be happy to help you. I wish you all the best in your interviews, and let me know in the comment section what tips you've learned from this video today. Thank you. Bye.